All right. Uh, Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you for the Sitecore User Group Jaipur meetup. I'm really glad to see all of you joining us today for this online session. Today's topic is Sitecore Symposium 2025 recap, and we have Rodrigo and Diego with us to present this session. So both are Sitecore Technology MVP from a very long time and also a very active community member. So you can just see them in Slack and other social media networks as well. In this session, they will walk us through about the overview of major announcements from Sitecore Symposium 2025. It's going to be really interesting and hands-on session. So I would encourage everyone to stay till the end, ask questions, and make it very interactive sessions. Thank you once again for joining, and let's get started. Over to you, Rodrigo.
Okay, so I am sharing my desktop. Let me know if the microphone is weird. I can
Now we can
change
hear
to
you
a
fine,
different one.
Rodrigo. We can hear you
Okay,
fine.
cool.
We're good.
Thank you. Okay, so we are here today to give you this recap while we're still fresh in our heads. Because a couple weeks ago we had this Sitecore Symposium in Orlando. Um, it was a great experience, and myself and Diego were there present, having fun, and also doing networking and getting more knowledge about the platform, the roadmap, what's going on, what's coming next. But before we start, I will introduce myself. Diego will introduce himself as well after. I am Rodrigo Peplau. I'm the Brazilian country head of ARC Systems. I've been working with Sitecore pretty much the same time that Diego. There is a prompt opening. I don't know why, because I'm geek. Sorry. Um, yeah, since 2010, I've been working with Sitecore. I've been speaker in many symposiums already, subcons and user groups like this that I'm proudly being keep being invited. Thanks for the invitation this time, Summit and everyone from SUG Jaipur. Um, being 10 times MVP, I got my silver plate. It's here. This year was my finally MVP summit after another. You see people getting these plates, and this time it was my time. I couldn't believe actually. I've been part of the 9 hackathons so far. My team Go Horse is also twice champion, but being honest, participating is the best part. And I'm also founder of the Sitecore Group Brazil back in 2016. Back to you, Diego.
Hello, everyone. My name is Diego Moreto. I've been working with Sitecore for 15 years now. Rodrigo and I started working together with Sitecore back in the day, so we go way back. I'm a four-time Sitecore Technology MVP. Yeah, I helped Rodrigo back in the day. We co-founded this user group, the Sitecore Brazilian user group. And I've been working at Proficient for the past 8 years now, so, and I'm happy to be here to share some of the things that we saw, in Orlando, to talk about, the symposium, what we saw, what we heard, networking and whatnot. And I'll be happy to have this user group session here with all of you. So thank you for the invitation. All right, let's go to the next slide. So as we already announced, so we had the symposium a couple weeks back. It was again on the Walt Disney World Dolphin Hotel in Orlando. This was the house for two symposiums, if I'm not mistaken. That goes, I think, for 18 and 19, 2018 and 19.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, Rodrigo's just editing that. That's fine. The main theme of the event was AI meets human connection, and Sitecore dropped some big announcements on the symposium, and we'll be talking about those, in the next few slides. So maybe let's go to the next slide then, Rodrigo. So the symposium started with some major, the main Sitecore keynotes. We had Eric Stein, Sitecore CEO, Dave Tilbury, Sitecore COO, and Michelle, the CMO, where we heard stories around, I would say, inspiring stories. We heard, where Sitecore is headed with its technology, its platform. Sitecore did hear the market, its partners, and brought some interesting stuff this year. This was probably, looking at Sitecore Symposium's history, I would say this was probably one of the most exciting based on the things that were announced, and we'll be talking about those in a brief moment. But I mean, if we go, maybe we'll go to the next slide. Let's just go through a couple of featured speaker sessions that we had. This one, Jesse Cole, was probably, I would say, the most inspiring one. I'm not sure if you ever guys heard about the Savannah Bananas. I myself haven't. He basically, this guy and his wife created a baseball team. Rodrigo, yeah, thank you. A baseball team that really is all about entertainment. He really reminded me of the Harlem Globetrotters, the basketball teams, where it's all about entertainment. It felt like that, but for baseball. I'm not a baseball fan at all, but this guy brought some interesting things around how they were approaching this. I even dropped here on the chat a link where we had a very similar, I would say, a very similar presentation that we had in the symposium. Of course, this is not the symposium presentation, but if you go through this YouTube video that I just pasted in the chat, you're going to get a feel of what his session was like. So super entertaining, super inspiring, and bringing some great insights around, innovating, around looking at this same things from different angles and perspectives. So this was really, really interesting session to watch. I would encourage you guys to take a moment and watch this YouTube video. It's a video. It's very fun and really inspiring.
Yes, and just to side comment on this, this is a very American thing. From my side, I thought it was a TV show. I didn't know even it was a basketball team until I saw this guy speaking. But at the same time, the thing the tips about marketing that the guy brought to the stage, including how to conquer more fans, more fanatics, and supporting the team was truly inspiring. And the way how he empowered a guy that was someone who nobody noticed on the team, and he empowered that person. I forgot the name of the guy, but he was
Reggie.
Given Reggie. Yes,
yep.
The guy was given during his birthday. They allowed the guy to come to the field only to discover that he was a social beast. Like, people love him, and he became like the mascot of the team. Nobody would be doing that if not with a mind that is open, right, to the new, to risk things. So that was a great message, I think. Yeah. The other guest note, and this one, I was truly admired by all the information he got, is Paul Rotzer. He's founder of the Marketing AI Institute, and he brought this session about truly inspiring data, information, knowledge about the state of AI today and how to implement that in your business. It's impossible to bring everything in one slide, but here you have him bringing data like how to identify AI use case. Everybody's trying to use AI in different places, but is it really applicable to everywhere? No, the answer is no. He's saying you should be using that to challenges that are data-driven, repetitive, predictive, and generative. If you're not having these things combined, it's probably not a good use case for your AI. You have this chart here where he's showing quite of the timeline of evolution between features using AI. Now we are definitely in this AI agent explosion, but he's foreseeing for next year robotics explosion, and then finally in 2027 AGI, yet to be confirmed, but very truly inspiring. I'm sure you got some insights on this, right, Diego?
Oh yeah, no, this was very like a very interesting presentation. I mean, this timeline was he during his presentation he brought some interesting insights as to why we are on the AI age now and why we're seeing things the way they are right now, right? I mean, AI is not something new, right? But I mean, now we had some major breakthroughs during AI labs and research that actually enabled, for example, LLMs to become a thing, right? Before then, AI was not possible to do things like we see, for example, on ChatGPT, Gemini, and so on. But now we have, and this, these insights and these researches basically brought us to where we are today. Where, as Rodrigo said, I mean, we're on the AI agent explosion. We're going to see some of AI agents that Sitecore is launching, with Sitecore AI, and where we're going from here. So this was actually a great presentation. I would encourage you guys to follow him on LinkedIn. He has some very interesting content as well. Okay, on the next slide, then, so there were like during the symposium, aside from, of course, these major keynotes and sessions, we had the sessions for topics, and we ended the symposium on Wednesday with the symposium party at the Universal Studios in Orlando. This was super fun. So part of the whole park was closed for the Sitecore attendees. We had some, I mean, there's a lot of pictures online if you're following hashtag Sitecore Sim. We just like handpicked a few of them. It was super fun. And we actually got to see something that to me was like breathtaking. Like we were entering the symposium party at Universal Studios, and if you guys know, Orlando is actually close to Cape Canaveral. I think that's how we say in English. And we were having a SpaceX launch happening during that time. So we were all looking up and we were seeing the SpaceX, getting launched into space. That was like perfect timing. It was not in the schedule of the symposium, but the ones that were there were actually got to see that. So that was super nice. I'm not sure if you want to cover anything about the symposium party here, Rodrigo.
Oh yeah, no lines at all because the whole
Oh
park
yeah.
was ours, so we could have enjoyed the attractions without lines. A lot of people who are there that you couldn't speak, but now you have the chance to speak during this time, as well as some good meals that we had during that night. The only complaint I have, it was too short. Only 3 hours, and I would definitely enjoy 5 or 6 hours of this.
But having no lines makes any Disney or any park like the way to explore it, because like you can get to go multiple times. That's super fun, right, Rodrigo?
It's like you are always in a fast track. Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. Next slide. I'm afraid we do. This is mine, but wait a little. Yeah, now it's better. Okay, yeah, so dudes, that was the biggest announcement in the whole event, the introduction of Sitecore AI. So everything you learn about Sitecore XM Cloud, CDP Personalize, Search, you can Content Hub, you can just forget about that, okay? It's over. It's dead. Now everything has been reorganized under the same umbrella that they are calling Sitecore AI without space between Sitecore and AI. Don't confuse with the Sitecore Space AI announced back in 2019. It's not the same thing. That was the early stages of Sitecore Stream, and now Stream, XM Cloud, CDP, Personalized, Search, everything has been grouped under the same umbrella called Sitecore AI. It's already available. You get your hands on that since the last Monday, not this one, the one before that, November 10th. And it's not just a regrouping of things under Sitecore. It's not just real UX reorganization. It's actually some things are being built from scratch, including CDP and Personalize. So if you have the standalone CDP and Personalize, now with Sitecore AI, you have a different tool. It's not the same tool. And the reason for doing that is because with all the composition phases that we've seen in the past, um, the market has coming back to this. Not It's not a monolith. It's a cloud, still cloud based, but single product that has all the capabilities of a DXP. I think that was the most important and brings more under the same umbrella that we're going to go and speak about in the next slides. And I'm curious now, I haven't asked you this, Diego, but how excited are you? How impressed are you with this Sitecore AI stuff?
I was actually super excited about it. I mean, one of the major questions that Rodrigo outlined this very well, right? So, I mean, if you go back into Sitecore's, the past years, Sitecore was, you know, basically creating boxes of SaaS products. So we had Search, we had CDP, Personalize, XM Cloud, Content Hub, Order Cloud. They were all like these standalone, not standalone, but I mean, they were SaaS offerings that you basically would compose. And then we all heard, wait, now all of this is becoming like one single product. Are we back to the monolithic area? So what is that? Is that mean there's composables no longer a thing? That was like one of the first questions that we were asking ourselves. And the question is sort of. We'll go through the next slides, but now we have the ability to just pay for what we use. Right. So for example, if you're not using Personalized, you're not using CDP, so you're not going to be paying for that. So you can think about that as the new composable approach. But Sitecore AI brings something very new, and I guess we can go to the next slide, Rodrigo.
Mhm.
That to me was the most interesting part, is that it's not just like a new rebrand of these products, but really they are rebuilding a lot of it in using AI in its core. So when we get to the Agentic Studio, we will see more about that. But now Sitecore is really bringing all of those products into one major big platform called Sitecore AI, right? So you don't have to deal about those integrations anymore because they are all part of the same product, right? So that to me was actually I was very surprised to hear that, and I was actually very excited because now the tool has become way more powerful if you think about that, right? XM Cloud, Rodrigo said it very well. I mean, XM Cloud is now part of Sitecore AI. We're still getting used to that. It still exists, and I'll show you like in the next slide some of the mappings of how these things come together. But I think of it as Sitecore AI really as all of these products now working as one with an AI core in its center, right? So it's not like a new layer on top of these platforms. No, Sitecore AI, the AI aspect of Sitecore really is at the center of the whole thing. It's in its core. So um, I think, as answering your question directly, Rodrigo, how excited I am. I'm actually super excited because I'm actually seeing the best of both worlds, right? I mean, composable is actually something very interesting, and it's super useful for our customers. But at the same time, you get the convenience of having all of this ready for you to use. So it's just a matter of, like you don't have like multiple contracts, multiple sales pitches that you have to deal with when you're dealing around, oh, let's purchase Personalize and then maybe use CDP, but now we're going to change search to use Sitecore Search, so these are typically multiple parts of an implementations if you don't deal this from day one. So now it's all ready for you to use, right? So that's, super useful in my opinion. I will say this, not all of the SaaS products are available yet. So for example, Content Hub today is not part of Sitecore AI yet. Sitecore did announce its intention to actually make it part of Sitecore AI down the road, TBD in terms of whether that's going to be in December, January. I think it's still getting figured out. But the idea is for that to be seamlessly integrated with Sitecore AI without any new major releases for the Sitecore ecospace to deal with. Sitecore Order Cloud is also not part of Sitecore AI as of this moment. So yeah, I think we can go to the next slide, Rodrigo. And here, I built this mapping XM Cloud. If you're used to XM Cloud, this is where you find, the new interface. If any of you have logged into Sitecore XM Cloud any instance after November the 10th, you should have seen that the whole interface is now different. Now you don't get that XM Cloud UI anymore. Now you get the Sitecore AI. And so now things are slightly reorganized. So as was said, so now projects, you will see under strategies, campaigns, portfolios, and the channel sites and whatnot. So content editor is now called content. So it's like one single interface. So yeah, just put this together to help if anyone is kind of a little bit lost, as I was in the beginning, trying to figure where things were. So yeah.
All right. Yes. So speaking a little about the Sitecore Studio, it's basically the new tool, the new interface for building stuff with the help of artificial intelligence, and it's bringing together 4 pieces that you see on screen. Diego and I, we will elaborate about each of them. But basically, they have four things: the Agentic Studio, where you build and orchestrate AI agents, you create new agents from scratch or use the ones that Sitecore already prepared. The App Studio, where you build apps and extensions, the old component builder, now powered with AI. Sitecore Connect, I'm not sure about you, but I've been playing with Sitecore Connect for a couple or maybe 3 years. And the marketplace, which was for geeks, for developers, I think the most expected feature in the whole tool set, where we finally can build applications and make them available in a new modern marketplace. So let's go through that.
Okay, so Agentic Studio. I'm not gonna open here a browser, but we do have a screenshot of the Agentic Studio look and feel. If any of you have used any AI GPT tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, and whatnot, you're seeing in the middle of the, of the stage a prompt, which is exactly what that is. So you get to basically use a prompt to actually get things done for you, right? So we saw during demos, in Sitecore's booth, how that comes together. I would encourage everyone to go and check that out. I know the Agentic Studio, it's still being slowly released, so some partners I know still having to deal with, but what I can say is that we have now pre-agents built, and we'll go through those in a minute, like for example for translation, for writing blog posts and whatnot. So if you put yourself in the marketer's shoes for a moment, like creating campaigns, segmentations, figuring all these stuff out, which are part of a day-to-day activity for a marketer or for someone dealing with content authoring, it's now all available for you to use and actually use prompts to get your work done, right? So you can create a new campaign using prompts. Or you can create content pages using prompts. So there's a lot that you can do. So going back to what I was saying on the previous slide, when I say this, Sitecore AI is not a layer on top of XM Cloud, that's what I mean by that. So now we have, what we're all used to using, like prompts to actually get content, to get research done, to get stuff done, is now available for you to use inside Sitecore. It has context of the whole ecosystem that is available there for you to use. Not only that, you actually get the ability to create custom agents for you to do your workflow, right? That's really powerful if you think about that. If anyone here is actually, exploring creating agents to actually get some of this stuff done, you get to do that in Sitecore now, which is super exciting. You don't have to go externally, get, I don't know, Claude or, whatever tool you're using to actually do some part of that for you. Now you have the whole context available for you. So I guess the message here with Agentic Studio is AIs for everyone on the team ready, not just like for more technical specialists. So you get a lot of no code available for you, right? And you have the whole governance around it, powered by AI. So this is super interesting. I guess if we go to the next slide, Rodrigo.
That's
All right,
yours.
yeah. App Studio. So App Studio is another part of, as Rodrigo were explaining, part of the Sitecore Studio. So App Studio, is a developer workspace that gives your technical team the tools to build custom applications, extensions, even AI agents on top of Sitecore AI. You get to use, MCP SDKs and whatnot. I would think about this as a developer toolkit, if you will, that really opens up the whole platform for you to customize it, with a lot of things ready for you. Like as I said, have SDKs with libraries ready for you to interact with Sitecore AI. You have MCP. We have a slide to talk just about MCP, but MCP is a super interesting way for you to integrate your solution, your things with other external sources. Like one, for example, we use one example that I did see in practice during the symposium, like using a context of a solution that you actually get to pull stuff from, maybe Figma and then from Jira, and actually bring all of this together using the MCP protocol with all that context to build stuff, right? To build components, to build to do code. So MCP is a powerful thing, and Sitecore is releasing MCP integrations. We have for Block and we have MCP marketed, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But this is super useful stuff. And what can you do with it? I guess with this whole app studio. Some of it I already say, but really you can create specialized tools. You integrated with Sitecore AI, you can customize fields, you can customize. There's a lot. Okay, I'm getting some background, but okay. You can create like a custom dashboard with custom reporting that you need, unique workflows. You get functionality to Sitecore AI, which again, if you think about this, is a SaaS platform, but now Sitecore really is opening up its product for the partners and for the customers to really extend for its needs. So it's SaaS, but it's extensible, right? So to me that's super exciting because you're not like locked into one SaaS thing that you only get to do things in certain way. You actually get to extend a lot of it. So yeah. And not sure if you want to say anything about this, Rodrigo, or we can go to marketplace.
That's all good. That's all good. Just a quick time check. I think we have 15 minutes to finish but guys from the user group confirm if that's really 45 minutes. If that is the case, we have 15. Yeah. So the other leg, marketplace. Um, Sitecore had a booth there in the partner pavilion the marketplace hack space. There was a booth where they were playing every 1 hour, one session about how to build an app from scratch using the marketplace SDK. The SDK is already available. You can scan this QR code if you are interested, and you will be able to get your hands in the SDK and documentation. The marketplace, to be very brief, I would say, is now the new way of building applications for Sitecore AI, for Sitecore itself. And it's amazing because it has a curated marketplace space where Sitecore is doing their best to keep the applications relevant and supported by the developers. It's also interesting because you can monetize, you can have your app there and have clients downloading and paying for that. You can, even if you don't want to make your application public, but let's say you have an application that you build for a client, for instance, you can still use the marketplace to distribute, upload to the marketplace, make it private, and give access only to your clients. And when they install that in their Sitecore AI, you every time you have a new update, you can just upload to the marketplace and distribute the uploaded the new version of it quickly. You don't have to go ask people to do anything. You can even schedule that for automatically upgrading. So it's very powerful. People are all eyes on this. If you're building anything new in Sitecore AI, you're probably building to marketplace. And if you're not doing that yet, I suggest you to put your hands on it, because that's the future of Sitecore development. Okay, you have 30 minutes. Thank you. So we can take your time. And have you had a chance, Diego, to pass by the Hackspace booth? And what do you think about that?
It was actually super nice. I mean, we got to play with integrating the marketplace. So we got to actually, it was fun. We had a lot of developers in a small booth talking around how to use, for example, when I was there, we were talking about using MCP to integrate with Sitecore's block, which was just like released during the symposium block with Shadsian. So it was nice to actually be able to be all sitting beside it, around a table and talking around that, the challenges, how to do that, so it was, everybody was there, so you get to ask questions and they actually get to explore and do some real-time coding while all of this was happening. And you had Sitecores and other specialists around you. Everybody was like learning and getting the feel of what that is in real time. So it was actually super interesting. I like that a lot, honestly. So
Yeah, Sitecore Connect is the fourth leg in that whole ecosystem. If you're not familiar with Sitecore Connect, it's a no-code or low-code tool that has hundreds of pre-built connectors. You can connect to anything, basically read and save data, read and write from any kind of places. Salesforce, OpenAI, Sitecore, of course, any kind of products in Sitecore, Google Drive, OneDrive, you name it. So there are connectors for everything. A beautiful canvas like you see in the screenshot here, where you can drag and drop your actions and build what they call recipes. And the recipe is a piece of code that is visual. And the reason I've been working with this for like 2-3 years so far, the reason I love this, and I feel a little ashamed to say that because I'm a developer in my veins, right? But I'm here talking about a low code tool because with time I learned two things about this. First is that anyone can read this, not just developers, but anyone, your business, your client. You don't have, it's probably not advisable to open your code in front of your client. to ask for to discuss something, but it's totally manageable to bring this to screen and speak about the code with your client if you are doing with Sitecore Connect. And the second reason is because all the noise that we use in code, instantiating new objects, configuring the object, all noise is removed from the canvas. You don't need that noise, and you keep your eyes just in what makes really difference in the business logic, right? So it's easy to visualize, it's easy to participate, and Sitecore is doing that very hard in the heart of the system, because every time you need to build something new, a new integration, you don't need to put your hands on code anymore. You can just use Sitecore Connect, right? Next slide.
Okay, let's talk about agents for a moment. And just to level set, I mean, maybe some of you are all thinking, what is this agents that everyone keeps talking about? Like, what is that? How is that different from me going into a chat GPT and asking for a prompt? So basically, an agent, think of it as like an independent, smart robot that gets to do a task for you and gets to actually decide steps that need to be taken in order for to achieve its goal, right? So if you're using the most recent versions of, Gemini or Manus or other tools that already have agents built in ready for any, visitor to check, you actually get to see that in action, right? For example, I'll use one example that maybe will help clarify for everyone here. So the other day I was working on an integration, and I needed to go through an API, review the docs. I was not feeling like it. I was like, oh my god, I got to go through this API, figure how this all stuff out needs to happen. So I asked an agent to actually do that for me and say, go read this documentation for me, go figure it out. I of course in my prompt I would say, I want to, do this integration. This is what I want to that I'm trying to do, and the agent would actually, I would see it in action, browsing, reading the docs, trying to make sense of what needed to done to actually get the response that I was looking for. This is an agent in action, right? So it's not just like a prompt trying to generate content with LLM for you, right? It's more than that. So now Sitecore brought that concept into its core, right? So now it integrated 8 pre-built AI agents in Sitecore AI ready for you to use. And those are, I mean, we're going to go through each one of them real quick. But if you look at them, some of them are their names are actually self-descriptive. Like for example, blog writer. What does it do? It's gonna try to write a blog post for you using the whole context of your Sitecore AI system. So like your branding, how you're approaching your customers, all of that. So I mean, we're gonna talk about that particularly in a moment. But think about this: like you get all of these ready for you, like translation, research, bulk content generation, and so on. So let's just go through those. And by the way, they're actually already part of the system, right? They are not demos, they're not prototypes, they're not like videos of things that they can be done. They are actually part of Sitecore AI today. So let's talk translator agent. Yeah, that's on me. So this is basically an agent that what it does is it translates content into multiple languages, trying to preserve the brand consistency, right? So it's not just like translating a particular word and like in Portuguese to English or to French and whatever. No, it's more than that, right? So it's not a basic machine translation. It understands the brand context, right? So maybe a particular word in that brand makes more sense to use different words in a different language to actually give that meaningful and content that the marketers are trying to deliver to their customers. So it's smart. It's not just like pure translation, right? So that's really important. You can use that in campaign pages, product descriptions, promotion materials. So you get an agent that actually gets to pick the best way to deliver that content in that language for you. So you get, I think you get here speed of translation without sacrificing quality, right? So the translation is quality is at the core of this particular agent. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah, and just before I start the slide, it's important to tell those are pre-built agents, but it's very easy to build your own agent. You can even duplicate these agents to get a start and then modify the agent. Let's say you have the translator agent. You can duplicate that agent to make a special translator for you because maybe one language is not being, it's not working well. You can build your agents very easily using natural language. It's not building an agent is not building code. It's actually building with natural language. You tell the agent what it should do. You give him or it the data information needed, and it will be built for you very easily. Yeah, bulk content generator. It's something that I think it's obvious. You want to use agents to build content, but the important part is that it's going to be brand aware. You know exactly the agent knows exactly your brand, how the tone of voice has to be, the colors to be used, the pictures that are acceptable against those that are not, the kind of objects to show, etc. Everything you can describe in the brand kit, and the brand content generator will respect that in when generating content for you. And that means you can create variations of content for different personas. Like you have your website has many different target audiences, and you will build content with slight variations for each of them very easily. You don't need to do that by hand anymore. Even the channel, if it's going to be a LinkedIn post, if it's going to be an email, you can determine everything. Um, you can generate already translated without having to use the translator agent, but already translated to the several different locations that you have. Um, and yeah, so one of the biggest difficulties when scaling a campaign, because building a small marketing campaign, it's not that easy, that difficult. But when you scale that to many different targets, audiences, different locations, maybe different countries, you will see that scaling is very different. It's very difficult. And using agents like the bulk content generator, you can scale up very easily and have one small campaign that was targeting a small city, for instance, or a state, expanded to multiple countries very easily, and keeping the brand consistency that is more important. Yeah. Another pain in the head that everybody has is keeping the website SEO aligned, right? So like it's difficult to keep metadata, all the information that you have behind the scenes that makes your website perform better on Google. Now you have this research agent that is going to be scanning your website, scanning the whole data content tree, and telling if the landing pages are having good performance for AI or for Google, even AI. So it's like it's a way to improve for AI agents as well. If you're missing keywords, metadata, if there's any links that are broken or bring it to the wrong place, you don't need a human being anymore to scan and get those in a report. So it's improve the target of this agent is to improve the ranking and the visibility, not just in Google, but in the AI platforms as well, Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, right? That's a very handy one. I think I've been in many projects in the past where we were charging the client to do this, and now you have this agent to do that for you very quickly.
Oh yeah, this is actually a duplicate slide, Rodrigo, the research agent. I guess you can go to the next one. I just noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one, yeah, the competitor analyzer agent. That's a very important one that I saw. When you work with strategy, when you are a strategist, you have to analyze the market, especially analyzing the competitors, how they position themselves, how their messages are, and you don't want to lose from your competitors, right? So this analyzer agent helps you compare your branding with other brandies, what they're doing and what you're doing. And even if you didn't start yet, you can use that to brainstorming and analyze the website, a campaign from your competitors and see what the gaps are. Um, Maybe find what the weakest part of their competitors are, so you can attack those parts. Monitor and the competition, in media, etc., social media, what they are doing. You don't need to have a person doing that anymore. You can have this person focusing in more strategical things and having all this manual research being done by an agent. Um, yeah, so when you have a campaign in progress, or you want to start a campaign, you want to start in the best timing ever, right? You want to start in a timing that is not conflicting with any important events that are going to cause distractions. Maybe there is a new release from competitor, etc. It helps you find the best spot to start your campaign and the best creative way to approach the market and win from the competition using AI. That's a very interesting one. And the strategists that all strategists I spoke, they are very excited with this agent.
Okay, so I mean, we still have 11 minutes left, so I think, Rodrigo, let's try to speed this up with these angels because there's a lot of still content to go through.
Yeah.
Brief generated really is very useful for campaigns, so you can actually, you get to see goals, audiences, KPIs, and whatnot, and really helps you, create comprehensive briefs in seconds. So it's really useful. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah. So that's another example of agent where you are using data from your CRM now to analyze and improve the knowledge that you have about your audience, processors, the industry focus, etc., and surface data that is important about your accounts, so that you can reach out to your existing customers in a way that is correct, that is aligned to your brand and is appropriated to them.
Last agent would be the blog writer. I mean, the name is self-descriptive, but I mean, the one thing that I would outline is the agent has context of your brand. So you actually get to write blogs with SEO optimized content, right? So you get that whole context around that. So you get to incorporate brand guidelines and whatnot. So this is actually very useful for agent as well.
Yeah, agentic flows. So when you have a workflow that is full of steps and approval parts that you depend on people to respond, sometimes responding in different channels like email, other people prefer SMS, other people prefer to get a Slack channel message, etc. It's very easy to use in the agentic flows to build complex automation workflows using AI, using agents to progress, but still getting the human in the loop while we are having this done. And it's as well as the rest of the agents context aware. So it means that he understands your context and understands your brand so that the automation flows are best as possible aligned to you.
This Sitecore pathway to me was one of the most exciting announcements as well during the symposium. Sitecore pathway really is a tool to help migrate previous implementations into Sitecore AI using Wizard. So I will, seeing a Sitecore booth demo where we were actually getting like an XP implementation, getting the contents out of it, the templates, the fields, and actually porting that over into Sitecore AI. So really the idea is to expedite migration into, for previous Sitecore customers, but it is also tailored to us. And Sitecore did announce that down the road, the idea is to actually integrate other technologies, other tools to actually migrate, for example, other CMS systems, if you will, into Sitecore AI through Sitecore pathway. So it helps bring all those customers into Sitecore AI faster. That's the main purpose of this tool. So yeah.
MCP, well, Diego already spoke about MCP, the model control protocol, model context protocol. That is a way to plug your APIs with AI agents, LLM models, and having in the MCP there, you help you enable AI agents to discover the capabilities of your system and create, for instance, in Sitecore, create items, delete items, manage the whole platform using natural language just by using the MCP. Now it's part of the whole thing, of the whole Sitecore AI, and it used to be something separated. Now it's part of the whole platform. That's one, I think, for geeks. That's one of the best picks.
Very quickly, we're gonna talk about XP. Is XP not a thing anymore? That's actually not true. Sitecore is actually still investing in XP. They presented some enhancements around, stream, for field translations and whatnot. And maybe if you actually go to the next slide, Rodrigo, I pasted here the roadmap on XP, the things that were done recently, that they were working on, like for example, translating page, into integration with Sitecore Path AI, the things that are targeted for next quarter and whatnot. This is all available through the roadmap link. You guys can all log in there and check it out this by yourself. So yeah, there's still some investments, but the major focus still is Sitecore AI. So
Yeah, so I think this is a common doubt for everybody has are going to is XP platform, XP XM platform going to disappear? And the answer is no. Sitecore is just giving us more options, more modern options. But if your client is still in XP or XM platform, you're good. You're good. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, a little bit of self-promotion here. I did have a couple sessions in the Sitecore Symposium, and the first one was about, I told you about Sitecore Connect, right? Was how to use Sitecore Connect as a middleware. Because, today with this headless architecture, we don't have the backend anymore, right? So we need something in the middle that commonly called middleware. And how do you manage that? Normally, if you want to build your own middleware using C#, I won't stop you. But there's a lot of complexity involved. You have to maintain, you have to version that, you have to balance that, load balance. You probably want to give access to some clients, not to the others. Sitecore Connect now has something called the API platform that gives you exactly that. So that session speaks about this. I'll be repeating this session in the Sitecore user group soon. I'm not sure if this year, but maybe next year. And also being part of this panel with great minds in our community, myself, Lisa Strausman, Paul Collins, and the great Mo Sheriff. Mo Sheriff is the director of AI in Sitecore, so he built Sitecore AI, Stream, etc. And I get the honor to have him as a moderator in our in our panel, where we spoke about the myths and the realities about agentic AI, where the human being still fits. And last but not least, before I open to questions, the MVP Summit, it's NDA. There's a lot here we cannot speak, but I can tell you two things. First, it was a very emotional event. You have here our king, Tamás Varga, who is has announced that someone else is going to pick his place, which is Sebastian Winter, this guy here. Sebastian needs our support, so if you are part of the Sitecore community, I truly encourage you to welcome Sebastian Winter, help him succeed as the new MVP guy. Tamás Varga is not going anywhere as well. He's staying around at least for some time. And it was great to see as well those roundtables. We got many roundtables speaking about different subjects openly with the project people. So if we had any questions, that was so easy to get them answering in a very candid way. Yeah. So that's all we got, my friends. For today, I know we got some questions in the channel. I think it's a good chance to answer them. I know they were answered, but in the recording, they will not see. So I will go with one and you go to the other, right, Diego? Sitecore AI as client have to pay what they want. So in the other sense, is the same as before. Only difference is no extra steps needed to do the integration. Yes, you pay for what you use, but previously in the previous composable architecture from Sitecore, if you want, now you don't use personalization, but if you want personalization, now you have to pay CDP and Personalize, and you have to integrate that manually with your Sitecore implementation. But now in the in Sitecore AI, it's just a matter of calling the account executive and asking for the new feature to be released. It's going to be automatically released for you and automatically integrated with your system. So that's it.
Yeah, you get like to pay. Well, it's basically one contract to rule them all, right? You don't have to keep dealing with that. And the Content Hub, we already explained this, but basically it's still not part of Sitecore AI UI. It's currently it lives in its own realm. I did hear Sitecore saying that the idea is to down the road to integrate Content Hub into Sitecore AI seamlessly. So timing on that is still TBD, but it's in the plans. So I'm not sure if there's any other questions that the folks have here on this group.
One thing, like this is regarding the Sitecore AI, but what about the existing customer who is like having the Personalize or Content Hub or
So
in the
what I did
integration?
hear is that the whatever you had is getting brought into Sitecore AI, just like XM Cloud, for example, right? I mean, if you had XM Cloud, after November the 10th, when you log into it's already Sitecore AI. So all of that is already ready for you, right? You don't have to go through, the sales channels to figure that out. Now, it depends. I cannot speak in terms of contracts and how user and all of that. Really, the messaging here that we got was, it's all one product, it's one contract, and you pay for what you use. Now, in more details around, if you had like a specific thing used for CDP or for Sitecore search, then I would encourage you to reach the Sitecore sales rep, they will be able to answer that question more clearly.
Yeah,
That helps.
I think I can give you some. I can give you some extra insights on this. If you use Sitecore XM Cloud before the tent, you're gonna log after the tent. It's gonna to be Sitecore AI automatically, and all your pages will be there in what the new Sitecore AI. But the tools that you are used to are still the same as XM Cloud. From that sense, it was a rebranding. But if you go inside CDP and Personalize, for instance, it's a totally different tool. So for now, I would say it's not still feature parity. Okay, so they are building a new CDP and Personalize inside Core AI, and most of the features are not in pair with the existing CDP and Personalize. So for now, you need to analyze the features that you use inside Core CDP and Personalize, and if they are already existing in the new one, you can port them automatically. If you don't, not automatically, you have to do that manually. But if there's no feature parity, it's recommended that you stay where you are. And Sitecore is giving you most probably discounts in the Sitecore AI because you're keeping the other tool. I suggest that you speak to your account executive about details on the contract. But in the CDP and Personalize, there's still not feature parity, so watch out the features that you use before migrating.
Okay, that means if we need to migrate to Sitecore AI, in that case, definitely we need some either code updates or some migration, right? To move the existing one to the new one.
For the CDP and the
Mm-hmm.
Personalize, yes,
Okay.
because they are not the same tool anymore. And to be very honest, I'm not sure what migration tool Sitecore will put together to do that move from the CDP and Personalize side.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, so we are over the time, so I guess we should wrap up this session here. Thank you everyone for joining today's Sitecore Group Jaipur meetup, and a big thank to Rodrigo and Diego for sharing such insightful takeaway from Sitecore Symposium 2025, and we truly appreciate your time and efforts. If you have any remaining questions or would like to continue the discussion, feel free to connect in the community channel Slack with both of them, or like Sitecore community is anytime open for all the questions. Until then, stay connected, keep exploring, and keep contributing to the community. Have a great day to everyone, and thank you once again, Rodrigo and Diego.
Thank you, Sumit.
Thanks for having
Appreciate it.
us.
Yep.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one, everyone.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Goodbye
Have a
now.
nice day. Bye.
Bye bye.